to help us understand how we can get our children be in a good mental space and not be addicted to digital and screen all the time, and how to stay focused and resilient around the noise of the digital world. We have with us Supriya Sahai, and we are really blessed and privileged to have her with us because she, being a mother of two brilliant human beings, is also part of the Coaches Training Institute of USA. She's alumni of the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. She's a certified Edward D. Bono Creative Thinking Methods program. And she is EQI 2.0, that is Emotional Intelligence Assessor, certified by the American Association of Psychology and certified for team building and leadership, London. Supriya is a corporate trainer and executive career transition coach. She has over 12 years of experience and has been executive coach of international clients. She has trained over 6,000 executives and still counting. She is a CPCC at the ICF, which is a gold standard as an international coach. Aren't we blessed? She is also an author of a book published worldwide to spread awareness of gadget addiction in the lives of young children between the age of 0 to 14. And the name of the book is Gadget, in brackets, Less, available on Amazon and on the global Amazon too. She is passionate about youth transformation. She has successfully conducted creative thinking workshops at Indian High School, Dubai. She ran a Gavel club for 55 students at JSS International School. She is associated with the Ureka Group, Dubai, to conduct leadership sessions for MBA students coming from India for International Induction. She facilitates design thinking for innovation and social change for young adults with Youth Learning Center in Dubai. After running business development for a leading company in Dubai for a good 5 years, she began her coaching journey to transfer the immense possibilities of business owners and executives in the corporate world. She successfully conducted training sessions at Falcon Pack, Intertech Systems, Unity Infotech, BDO Dubai, and other companies, to name a few. What will she do in this summit? She will share her thoughts on digital and screen addiction and how to stay focused and resilient around digital noise. So I'll just make sure that Supriya is added. Hello, Supriya, welcome, and thank you for being part of us and holding this program for all of us and all our viewers. I leave the stage to you now. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aarti, for making an introduction. And the community of Redikall.
Sagat, can you remove my spotlight, please?
Yes, I have removed.
I am still on, I think. Yeah. It's not happening.
Yes, you can go ahead.
It's not happening on my screen, Swagat. Thank you.
I think I'm on the spotlight now, Aarti. Thank you so much. And
all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And the community of Redikall is always very, very close to my heart. And I'm really excited and proud to be invited to share a little bit on my own research that I have been doing for the past 5 years on digital and gadget addiction. So if I have to start off like why I got very passionate about this topic while I was doing the corporate work that I do in Dubai, is that my own children back in 2013-14, when my son was young, I realized that there were certain symptoms that he was showing, and that's something that really scared me. That such small children, when they get in front of screens, a lot of their attention and their energy gets, very, very drained, and they get very irritable. So that was the reason why I started researching a lot on gadgets, because the use of gadgets and the amount of screens that we are using can only be measured, the impact of this, I think, in the next 20-25 years. So it's always a nice thing that because the advancements are happening so fast today, that we must have a community like this where we are sharing what it means, especially for the young generation. So before I start the session today, let me have a quick check-in with all of you with a simple question that how do you first of all feel that addiction to gadgets or screen, is it an issue in your family life? You can just type a yes or a no, and I can just look at the chat box. Okay. So I can see Apurva saying yes, Ritika, big issue, Meghna, yes, Sophie, yes. Okay. Okay, I myself have too much use. Okay. Geeta is saying yes. Okay, interesting. So let me just ask another question. And I would love to hear what do you feel. Let's see how we notice. How do you come to know that, okay, I'm addicted and I'm not just using the screen, okay. A lot of people don't even realize that, they're addicted to the screens. So how do you understand that you are addicted, or maybe your child is addicted? I'm going to keep this a more neutral topic today. It could be a issue with your children or your own self. So how do you understand? Okay. How do you understand that you feel that you're addicted to the screen? So Dani is saying it's due to work, almost 11 hours. I need to be in front of the monitor. Energy drain and procrastination, Meghna. Not a big issue, but it is essential in present. Alka Mukund, yes. Like multitasking, but phone is on. Okay. Sophie is saying screen hours. Okay. My husband sitting the whole day, he is irritable when some other things are to be done. Okay. And mindlessly opening some apps. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, let's discuss that, what are the symptoms? Okay, Apurva is saying, I feel my child is addicted when I see her playing games when she's not studying. And if I say no, then terrible tantrums. Okay, we're going to touch a little base on, the symptoms today because of the time. I'm going to share 3 symptoms and, why why do we get so irritable or we lack focus when we are in front of a screen. So for that, let me just try and share my own screen. And please let me know when you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see it, Supriya.
See the screen. Okay. Okay. So we're going to cover today 3 things in the time that we have. And then, if there are any questions, I would love to hear from all of you. Is that, what are the symptoms of digital addiction? Because it's very important for us to get aware of where is that line where you really actually have to take a step back versus, as a few of you who've mentioned, that a lot of adult time on the screen is because of the work that we do. The second aspect that we'll cover today is that why do we get addicted in the first place? Like, we all know, like any other addiction of smoking or drinking, that it's harmful for us, but we feel very helpless around the screen and gadget addiction as well. And a few things that can be done, and how can you make short wins. I can share a couple of things that I keep doing consistently at my in my family as well. So if I have to start with, what are the symptoms of digital addiction? You can feel continuously bored, no matter how much. One of you had mentioned in the chat box that a lot of multitasking, like you can be seeing Netflix, and then you can have your phone in front of you, and then an iPad in front of you, and you can still continuously, even with these three gadgets in front of you, you can still feel very bored internally, which can lead to a lot of frustration, unexplained lethargy, a lot of anxiety. And a lot of times in children, when I work in workshops with young parents, I've also heard that a lot of times children can get a sense that they are out of touch of their reality, because they are so much on the screen that leave them. A lot of times if we are for a very long time on the screen, whether for work or for leisure, you can start feeling a little bit disoriented. So these are certain symptoms where on a day, we must take a pause and understand that, it's getting too much. So let me start with, why do we get addicted? Let me ask this question from all of you first. A little bit of what do you feel? What could be the possible reasons that we can get addicted to screens? You can put your thoughts on the chat box for me to read, and it's right in front of me. Or you can unmute yourself if you want, and you can also speak if that's allowed. I'm not very sure if that's allowed. Escape from reality.
They can only write in the write in the chat. Supriya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Escaping direct social contact if you're very shy. Okay. This is an interesting word. Sometimes it kills the loneliness. That's an interesting word. Entertainment, feeling of connection with social apps, feeling productive. Okay. All right. Yeah. So just for the sake of time, I can share 3 reasons why we tend to get addicted. And the first addiction that I have, okay, Anjali is saying FOMO. Interesting. So there is a very interesting book, if you all would want to note down, which talks in a very physiological way, in a very physical way of our body, that the name of the book is called Flow. And this book talks about that in our body, every single day, there is a certain amount of well-being hormones that need to be created. And when we sit in front of the television, there is a way that there is a continuity. In any activity, when there is a continuity, we start feeling a sense of well-being. This is how our body is. However, if it is not physical, if it is not involving our complete body, that is where the problem is. Because when we are not using our entire body, it is a kind of an artificial sense of well-being in our body. Now, this book talks about examples and illustrations where we are using our complete body. So a very simple example would be for a sports person. So anyone who is doing and is engaged in a consistent activity, like it could be dance, it could be sports, it could be music, it could be painting. But when you are in a consistent and continuous activity, that very action creates the well-being in our brain, which releases the well-being hormone called the serotonin. Now, this is why even watching television becomes very addictive, because the body starts demanding that continuity of thoughts. And the easiest way for us to actually, go through that well-being happens, unfortunately, just by sitting in front of the screen. Now, because we are not using our body at all, or the other aspects of our thinking, logic, reasoning, creativity, and we just sit in front of the television, but the brain is still secreting the well-being hormone called the serotonin. And so for the time being, you can feel very happy and good, but the moment you switch off the screen or the gadget is where you start having the withdrawal symptom, because the body was not involved completely. Then there is a withdrawal symptom, so you can experiment this, that the moment you're engaged in an activity holistically, whether it's with you or you engage in a social activity, the well-being that you feel inside of you will last longer. It can last for half a day maybe, or you've done something which is something very aligned to what you like. Maybe it lasts a day or 2 days. But notice, when as soon as you switch off your screens, that well-being will not last. You will start feeling again disoriented, or fidgety, or irritable, or frustrated, because this is the need of your body. Well-being, feeling of that happiness is the requirement of your body. It's a survival need. And that's why people can get into depression as well, because their body is not making the well-being hormones in the required amount. So that is one of the very basic and a very scientific reason that I researched and I found out, especially in the case of children or young adults. And that's why it becomes very important that we engage our children in some real life activity, rather than them being productive on the screen, or making them engaged too much on online learning. The second reason of us to get really addicted to screens and gadgets is that we operate from our primitive brain. And what do we mean by that? I will explain that to you when we come to what can be done about it. However, if I have to just explain you in a very simple way, I'm going to share this image of all of you can see the monkey and the tree with fruits. You can just type a yes or a no. Sometimes my connection can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So the second aspect that I have shared is that we operate from our primitive brain. And what does this mean, and why can we get addicted to it, is because naturally our brain is a very lazy brain. Now, as you can see that, this is the monkey brain basically. So 99.7% of our brain is still operated from the monkey brain, or a lot of times we call it the lizard brain. And what happens is that if we get something which is nearest to us, for example, I want you to imagine that there is a mountain, and this monkey, as soon as he climbs this mountain, he gets this tree which is full of apple. And he goes, he calls everyone, and they start feeding from this apple tree. Now, what will happen after a couple of months, or maybe a year passes, and or maybe there are a lot of monkeys, and the tree is without apples very quickly. Now there is a need for this monkey or these group of monkeys to go and find the apple somewhere else. Now, even if there is a tree which is a little far away, the monkeys will never go and make that effort and go to the tree which is far away. They will first try and, finish the last bit of what is left of this tree before they go and find out food anywhere else. And that's how our brain also functions. And the reason is because the closer the animal is to danger, the more insecure they feel. Now, if this monkey has to climb a mountain, go to the other side of the mountain, there is a danger that, they find some predator and they're eaten on the way. And the same way, our brain operates, that anything that demands effort from us becomes, something that we will keep avoiding. Now, if I am getting my well-being hormones very easily sitting in front of a television, or, if I am sad or depressed, or I'm feeling very anxious, instead of making that effort to really sit down or either have a conversation with the person that I have an issue, or instead of writing it down, what am I anxious about, or taking an action towards something that I feel stuck, it is easier for me to sit in front of the television or the screen and just create that well-being and safety hormone in my body. And I will keep doing that till the time I come to a point where, we come to a point where we start feeling unwell, or we have to go and show ourselves to a doctor, or we have to take some help from someone because it gets very overwhelming. So this is one of the reasons that mentally, as soon as we observe any threat outside, in the outer environment, it could be a challenge. For students, it could be a challenge that, there is a challenge in maths, English. I'm not able to deal with it right now. And so let me just, let me just feel happy about myself. And what is the easiest way? Let me just sit in front of the screen or mobile. And that will help me to just feel good just for now. So like any other addiction, I want you to understand that the screen is also very, very addicted because it is directly related to your serotonin hormone, which really regulates your lazy brain. If you feel safe, if a monkey feels safe. Now, why will a monkey feel safe? Very simple, okay, my tummy is full, I'm safe. They don't require things like what we do. So the same way, even our brain, whenever we feel we want comfort or we want security, we will move to the easiest option without making any effort. And the last point that I can share today, there are a lot of other scientific reasons why, we can feel very helpless in a lot of situations towards screen and gadgets. But today I would like to also talk about being a coach, being an executive coach who works with a lot of executives where, on a day in and day out basis, we work on creating clarity instead of staying confused. Is that a lot of times we get addicted to screens and gadgets where there is a lack of purpose, vision, or even clarity of what is it that I want today, or what is it that I need to do the next week. And that again creates a situation where so what happens is that if I don't know what I want, then I get into a habit loop of thinking and then overthinking. And because that becomes very overwhelming, again the body gives a signal to the brain that I am not okay, or you are in threat, you're in danger, there is no way you'll be able to survive. Either you'll be people will not like you, or you'll be thrown out of your job. And because of that, then again we'll unconsciously, instead of doing the work, we will come back and sit on the screen, or we'll do the multitask that we are trying to work as well. And the screen is open or the television is open, and then neither we can enjoy the television or we can complete the work. So in children, this is very high. And the reason is that when I get this a lot, when I speak about gadget addiction, when, the concern of parents is like, what do we do? We cannot keep our children away when they see us on laptops, and our child comes and they say that, you are working on the laptop the whole day, or you're on your screen the whole day, you cannot come and question me. However, one of the things that I tell a lot to parents is that a lot of our work on the screens is because of our profession. We need to work to bring food for our family on the table. But the addiction becomes very high in children, especially if it is not controlled and monitored, because they don't have any future need to go and provide for their family. Children are very, very present to their needs. What do they need in the next 1 hour, or what do they need today? And that's why they cannot foresee the harm of gadgets. They get very addicted, very, very irritable when you remove the gadget, because all they want is to feel good in the moment. They have no sense of any threat, any insecurity of the future, because that part of their brain has not developed at all. So which is the emotional brain. That's why if you notice, a lot of teenagers will have mood swings, and they will make extremely bad decisions sometimes, because that brain is still developing. And the emotional brain of any adult forms by the age of 25, 26. It's not even 18. And hence it becomes important that we do pay attention to the usage of young children, especially. Okay, so I would like to take a pause over here, and I would like to ask that where do you feel is your challenge when it comes to noticing and having a conversation around screen addiction with your family? Like, it could be your children, or it could be yourself. What are the kind of challenges you feel when it comes to screens and gadgets in your life? Let me just take a pause over here and stop my screen share. You can probably type.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I'm very fond of gadgets, I have an iPad and I keep on doing things, and my family doesn't like it. So I don't know what to, at times do I say, I rebel, I say, why must you stop me? I don't stop you from doing anything what you do. But I'm always stopped and checked. But these are the only things I have to play with. There's nobody else.
Yeah. So Umar, I think that's a nice thing you've shared, and thank you for sharing it so openly. I think till the time you feel that your daily engagement, your daily social interactions are not getting in the way, I don't think we all have our personal routines. But a lot of times, maybe you can check with them that, what is it that they want to do with you when they are requesting you to be away from the gadget? What is it that they need from you?
Why are you sitting with your iPad? Do something. Go and do this. Go and do that. All those things. घर का करो. मैं कर चुकी हूँ. अपनी उम्र मेरी पूरी हो गई है. मैं नहीं करूँगी अब. Don't expect me. मैं किचन में सब्जियां बनाऊंगी. She comes and cooks. It's okay. I mean, I have fibromyalgia, I'm diabetic and all that. So I can't take the strain, This is the only way I can enjoy. I play Sudoku, and then I've joined, other courses. So I keep myself very busy with the courses and webinars and all that. So I don't know. I don't feel like doing the routine work. I keep doing it, but I don't do it. But, the people around me, they have to stop me from doing anything what I like. They have the habit of doing it, Now, I put pictures, movies for my husband. Now he's happy, he keeps watching the movie, and I do my work, whatever I want to. So that's it. He keeps himself busy, and I also do my whatever I need to do. That's it.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that, it's not about what people think. It's about, like, having a good balance between your time, however you can, to engage with your body. Maybe it's a walk, maybe it's, something that will
I
help
do.
you. Yeah. So that's the only thing that I can share with you, that what we are doing, what I'm sharing over here is to have a fine balance between screens and real life. Because a lot of times what happens is that we get so used to being on the screen that the real life starts feeling very painful. Or we can start feeling, we a lot of times we cannot associate and enjoy the real life, because in the real life we need to make an effort, we need to do some mundane things as well, which are day to day, and also certain social interactions, which can get hampered if we are not aware of the balance. And the balance is something that you have to create depending on your own routine. Okay.
Thank you for that wonderful answer. There is a question in the chat which you can answer now.
Okay. Challenge is to get kids stop using gadgets even after decided time before they start using it. Okay. Munil, can I know what is the age of your children? No neighbor around. Okay. 6 and 11. Okay. What a coincidence. It's the same. It's the exact age of my children. So my son is turning 11 and my daughter is 6. And this is an interesting thing to answer, that definitely this will be a challenge with young children. I also face this challenge that, we've agreed a time, and, by the time that time gets over, there is a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of requests that we have to go and, tell our children that, it's time. However, what I will say is that please don't give up on the consistency. As parents, we have to set that time. And a lot of times what I have done is that my children get 1 hour in a week. And on the weekends, they can, watch the television for 2-3 hours. However, if they exceed the daily 1 hour, then that gets deducted from their weekend. And I don't create a lot of drama around it, but I'm very persistent and very, very consistent that this is a norm in our house. And it takes time, definitely. However, if they're engaged in activity that they like, probably for a longer time, in a week, I think your children, your son or your daughter who's 11, will gradually, it's a very gradual process. So when I started weaning out my son, and I had set this time limit of one hour for the 4 days, he resisted a lot. And after an effort of 1.5 years, now he has come to a point where he understands that, okay, I think mama is not going to give up, and let's stick to this. And there's a lot of reward as well, that, we go on the weekends, or there is something that has been designed between me and him, that what is it that he will do once the iPad or, his cartoon time is over, what will he focus on then? So I have created a wheel of circle where, like, there are 6-7 activities that, both of them they like, and that's where they will focus on. Okay, so Dani is saying for me, Monil, I hope this answers your question a little bit. I know this is not such an easy thing. So, Dani, so for me, the day I have day off, even I'm watching Netflix or something on TV with my mother. But yes, I have experience that I am avoiding going out or practically go out to meet people. Yes, that will happen, Dani. And it's good noticing that you're noticing now that this is how our brain is. It's as simple as that. It's a lazy brain. Any kind of effort which is out of your routine or anything which is the easiest. The entire industry of entertainment, or the app industry is based on that. A click and you get food, a click and you get things. And we've stopped going out because the quicker means that I need to make less effort, and anything which helps me to make less effort, I am going to naturally get attracted towards that option, rather than making that effort, or just staying just doing nothing. Okay, so let me just share my screen back, and so what can be done? I can share 4 ways for today, and then we can open for some questions. The first aspect that I practice a lot myself is that our thoughts become like a loop. They're like this endless loop in our mind. And what happens is that if we continuously keep thinking or imagining that this has to be done, that has to be done, I have not done this, I have not done that, or I'm feeling low, and this can become like a continuous pattern in our own mind. Now, what needs to be done is that you need to cut the wire somewhere for it to start getting untangled. Now, I want you to use this metaphor that whenever you feel anxious or frustrated, it is because there is an action that needs to be taken and you are not doing that. Maybe it is to sleep. It could be very simple as that, you're tired, you've had a long day, and now you're in front of your mobile and still feeling anxious. Then you switch on to your iPad, then you switch on to your TV, but you still feel that anxiety or that frustration. It's because maybe the simplest thing, the cut to the action is that you need to go off and just sleep, or maybe just go and make that phone call, or go and meet the friend that you have. Whatever it is, whenever there is a tendency for you to overthink, and which leads you to your mobile or which leads you to your iPad, stop yourself there and just ask yourself, okay, instead of me picking up now my mobile to escape, what is it that I can do and feel a little better? That is one of the things that in the language of coaching, what we use is that, what is your next pivot? What is the next thing that you need to do so that, you come away from this pattern of overthinking, and then you escape into watching and viewing your gadget. The second point is, I'll share an interesting, a short story on this, that there was once a deer in a jungle, and it went to drink water. It was thirsty, so it found water and it went. And as soon as the deer started having the water, a tiger chased it, and the deer ran for its life. It ran, and the tiger was chasing it, and so it ran more faster. And the deer ran so fast and so hard that it reached the top of a mountain. And then the deer looked back, saying that, okay, now let me just see whether, this tiger is still there or not. Now, of course, that was a lucky day for the deer. The deer ran and reached the top of the mountain. However, after that experience, the deer never went to that, place where it had the drinking water. And so in a few days, it could not survive. So the moral of the story is that whenever we are chasing something through a screen, it takes us to a place where especially children don't allow them to use gadgets to stay too much away from reality. Because what happens is that in real life, the deer was only chased once, but for the next 6-7 days, it was just imagining that danger or that fear. So imagination can be extremely powerful, but it has to be in the real life. So we need to help ourselves and our children to also have engagements where they are using their imagination in the real life. It is not something that they're escaping, because a lot of times what happens is that any challenge that our child will have, even if they are emotional or crying, we hand them over with a mobile, or we hand them that, you're sick, okay, watch as much as TV you want, or oh, you're not feeling okay, watch as much as TV, and then we'll talk about it. Now that what that does is that it robs away the child or ourselves to really stay in our real life, to really stay in that present moment. Because of that, we create this pattern where whenever we feel that we are not able to cope up with the real life, we try and escape into an imaginary world, which is again, one of the ways of addiction is screens again. A lot of people use alcohol, a lot of people can use smoking, drinking. Even too much of social engagement is a kind of addiction. However, my invite to all of you would be to always have a conversation with your children that imagination is always more enticing and imagination is always more beautiful a lot of times, especially for children, than reality. Because in reality, you have to execute. That's why there is no second part of DDLJ, because the imagination can always look very beautiful, but then in real life you have to come back and do certain things maybe you don't enjoy. However, it has to be done. That's how we become resilient. That's how we stay focused in the present, and not that after this I will do this, I will do that, and then we keep procrastinating it. And the last is that a lot of times when we feel that we're trying to escape, or we're trying to procrastinate certain actions, because we have noticed that we are getting addicted, or we are getting we're escaping an action, is always to have a mental note of certain social engagements that can help you to feel safe. Because at the end of the day, again, biologically, what we're trying to do when we get too much on screen. Now, I'm not saying that every single day you cannot watch your screen or you cannot give your children screen. But if you or your family or your children are using gadget to feel safe, if they've had a fight, if they feel like crying, if they have an emotional outburst, or if you are feeling threatened by some person, or at work there is a issue going on. So instead of processing it, instead of feeling safe by trying to resolve it, if you're trying to find safety in the gadget, is something that I will invite ourselves to focus on. That how can I have a safety net of human beings where I can go and probably explore what I'm feeling. Am I being heard? And you can be that safety net for your children, but allow them to have a safety net if they are coming in that age, to create that for themselves as well. Help them to understand that, if you have who are your friends that you feel safe with, for example. Who are your friends that, you feel charged with or maybe threatened? Because a lot of times children cannot say why they want, to probably ignore things or avoid things. But this is an important conversation we need to have with them, that, what's happening, because most of their issues are usually social. Most of our issues can be occupational. A lot of our issues can be, personal within the family, but usually children will have a tendency to avoid reality, to escape back into their gadgets, because they're having some issues and troubles with their social network. So this is one way that at least I also have, very consistent conversation with my own children, that who is their safety net? Do they see me in the safety net? Do they trust me that, if there's something that happens to them, will they come back to me? I cannot assume that, being their mother, that maybe they won't. So with this, I will stop my screen share, and I would open the floor for some questions if you may have any. My only last food for the thought would be that just allow to have a healthy balance of your body, mind, and action, so that you have a more well-rounded and well-balanced experience on a day-to-day basis. So gadget addiction, when we're talking about screens, it's a consistent and an everyday awareness, just like any other addiction. Okay. What is SI? Okay. So, Ritika, the SI means social intelligence. And social intelligence is something which is a term coined to understand the capability of an individual, that how well can they interact with people. So that is SI. Your question is how to overcome digital addiction. Can you be a little more specific? Is this for you? Is this for your children? And what is it that for yourself? Okay. So how do you feel that you get digitally addicted? What are your, various ways of, I spend mostly my time mindlessly scrolling. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So as I had mentioned that one of the comes in my way of my productivity. Okay. So one of the things again is that, you have to really pick up your pen, paper, and when you are spending too much of time, as you're saying that I spend most of my time mindlessly scrolling, you have to write. You have to just write, with a pen and paper. So a lot of times, this is a ritual that I have, that, even when I'm on this webinar, I will always have a simple copy like this and a pen. And I quickly write that what is it I am noticing, feeling, and what's happening in me. Because mostly when we are mindlessly scrolling, there is a sense of anxiety or frustration that you're trying to avoid. There is something in the present that you're trying to avoid by escaping on anything. So I want to add on this that, we're talking about digital addiction here. However, the escape could be anything. It could be maybe we are obsessed by, probably thinking negatively about someone else. And we're all in the radical fraternity. And, the first thing I think we should ask ourselves is that what's happening inside of me? What am I thinking? What are the kind of thoughts and emotions I'm feeling, which I'm trying to avoid? And the moment we write what we are feeling, just helps us to then ask that, okay, what is that one thing, even if it's one thing that I will do, which will help me to feel, better about where I am today. And just do that one action. Maybe it's to take a bath. A lot of times it's not a very big thing that you are trying to avoid. So, but it's always good to, note down what is it that you are anxious about, rather than, escaping onto either gadget, or maybe it's drink, or maybe it's chai, or I don't know, maybe go and fight with someone else that you're addicted to fight with. Okay. So let me just go one by one. After Ritika, it's Apurva's. So, ma'am, digital addiction means trying to escape our negative emotions and finding ways. Yes, yes. So again, yes, Apurva, when we say digital addiction, it means that you need to notice, are you using the gadget or the screen to really just enjoy, have fun, or to escape something that you're anxious about, or you're trying to avoid, or you've had a long day, you simply cannot be with your thoughts, and that's the reason why you're escaping into it. Yes, so the answer is yes. Would replacing screen time with serotonin increasing activities of body or mind also lead to an unhealthy use? I have not understood your question, Sophie. Would replacing screen time with serotonin increasing activities, body or mind? So anything that, if I have understood your question correctly, is that, I think, Aarti, I'm going to ask you to help me to understand this question. I have not understood the question.
So, yeah. So what I think she's saying is that would replacing screen time with serotonin increasing activities of the body or the mind, will that also lead to an unhealthy use?
Interesting. So anything that we do in excess becomes unhealthy for us. So you can definitely, like, if there is a person who is excessively exercising, for example, there will be a repercussion of that. Everything that we do has to be in bite-sized, which you feel well. All of us have this inner sense to understand what is good for us, how much is good for us. And it's always nice to push ourselves a little bit, because a lot of times we may be operating from our comfort zone. However, the idea is that please do not overdo things, and overdoing would maybe mean that maybe if I have not ever walked in my life, and from the next day I start running for a marathon, then of course, then it's an unhealthy way of creating that serotonin. So my suggestion always, even to my clients when they come for coaching, to get some action in their career or their life, is that what is the next pivot? What is the next step that you can take to feel more more aware of where you're going? I will not use the word control, but you're aware that where I'm going, what's the next step that you will take? So maybe, for example, if I have never used my body, then whatever the next pivot for you is, you must do that. Geeta Chaudhary, I read books on Kindle. Yeah, please go ahead. If you feel that you're able to focus on Kindle, there is no harm. However, the thumb rule of screens and gadgets ideally is that before you sleep, at least 2 hours before, stay away from gadgets. And at least the first 1 hour of your morning, practically for those of us who are working, please stay away from your gadgets. Don't wake up with them. Meghna, could you please suggest an easy exercise to counteract screen time? So Meghna, this is a good question. So how I have basically, what I can suggest to you is, make a list of and if you can do it, you can reach out to Radical community and reach out to me. And this is an activity I give to my clients as well, that make a list of 50 things that you love doing. Yeah, and then do them. And love doing means it doesn't have to be a bucket list. Make a list of 50 things that you just enjoy, love, or really have a lot of fun doing. Like, maybe it's like to go and have ice cream, or, take care of plants, or, go for a drive, or just go out and meet someone new every day. Like, one of the ways is that, how many connections you have, and maybe you have done that. And on a day-to-day basis, to counter screen time is do the next thing that you are avoiding. Like, even if it's to go out in the market and buy vegetables for the house, because it can start feeling very mundane. However, as per the Zen philosophy as well, the whole idea of enlightenment is to keep doing your daily routines, because that in itself can become very meditative and can help us to enjoy our real life more, rather than finding that well-being on a screen. Ritika, you have your hand up, and I think Aarti has opened her screen, so I think this is the last question.
No, it's not the last question. I'm just there in case it has to have any other answers and questions.
Yeah. So Meghna, just to answer your question, the last time would be, for me, whenever I feel that I'm really addicted, or I'm using the screen for this, for just to pass my time, then I usually have started going for walks. Like, I just go out for a walk, or call a friend for that matter. Ritika, hi, unable to unmute. Okay. You can.
Ritika, you'll have to write in chat, please.
Okay, this is interesting. Wanted to say, I know the theory of it. Okay, but unable to apply it. Execution is the problem. Yes, Ritika. So execution is always is always going to be the key. Again, the whole aspect that I will say is that effort is something we are naturally designed not to do. This is how our mind and body is designed, that anything that makes us put in an effort from anything that is to survive. So, maybe we can sit for 11 hours for our job on the screen because it's a survival for us. But for our own self, a lot of times we are unable to execute certain things because, that's our comfort zone. So instead of a Kindle, I think, again, the whole idea is that anything that helps you to have a routine in that 2 hours needs to get designed. For me, it's my journaling. So before I sleep, it's always, something that I journal around, or I read in a formal book. So for you will have to, again, make a list of things that you enjoy doing. Maybe it's craft, maybe it's sketching. I don't know what it is. So you can have your digital time in the rest of the day, but before you sleep, so instead of 2 hours, you start with 30 minutes maybe. So the pivot maybe is not 2 hours right now for you. So reflect that, okay, this is what I'm not okay with. What is the next easiest thing I can do? Maybe 15 minutes before you sleep, you keep away your gadget to begin with. Neha Malik, any suggestions on how to snap out of the trance that mindless scrolling can induce? I work on screen all day, and the phone, social media is an easy break from this, but is a worse trap. Yes. Yeah. So Neha, again, the whole idea is to go within and just see and explore what are the things that you enjoy doing. That is the only way you'll be able to come out of trance. And that's why, as I had shared, that a lot of times the lack of clarity in our vision and purpose really helps us to stay in a state of limbo or confusion. And that's a step that we all need to take. So even in my own life, 12 years back, I'm from NID Ahmedabad. I was a retail product manager over here. I was heading a production house in Dubai, and I just left it because I just didn't feel that it's it was never my vision when I sat down and I started reflecting, what is it that I need to do in my life? So I know this is not a very short answer for this, but to have the clarity will help you to reduce your anxiety of where you're going. So even if you can have the clarity of the day that you have in front of you or the week, will help you to go on mindlessly scrolling. So I'll just check with Aarti. Do we have time for the questions?
Maybe one question more.
Okay, clarity surrounding life purpose, difficult to identify any tips. So Sophie, this is the work that I do. And I think this is the work that Redikall also does. When it comes to working on your life purpose, it is a commitment of certain sessions that the clients engage with anybody. It's not about me, with anyone, where you ask certain consistent questions to yourself, that what is it that, but the simplest way that you can work on your purpose is that just close your eyes in your meditation and see your last day. Observe your last day and see that what are the things that people are talking about you. What were the things that you did when you look back at your last day? And that gives a lot of clarity to what do you see yourself up till the last breath that you will do, and then start creating, then you walk towards that goal. That's something that I did 12 years back. I don't know how I was blessed that I asked this question to myself, that retail is not something that I will do till the last breath of my life. So so finding the life purpose, you can try this activity, close your eyes and try it out.
Okay. Sagar?
Thank you, Neha. Thank you. Sophie, thank you. The action we take during the last breath, yes. Yeah.
Where's Sophie? Where's Supriya gone? She's here.
No, I'm very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much, Supriya. This has been really enlightening. And you made, while you were talking, I was reminded of some proverbs which we have forgotten in life. And I think a reminder of that would not be a bad idea. That is, excess of everything is bad. We remember being told this as children. And the other one was, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we are allowing ourselves to be idle. So then it becomes an addiction. And addiction, we know, is not something very positive, correct? So,
Absolutely.
and the third one, which I keep telling myself and all my students, is help yourself to help yourself. Right? So help yourself to help yourself. And I just want to share a story because you talked about imagination, to increase their imagination of children. Yes, we as parents are responsible to make sure that their imagination creates what they would like to do for their future. And I'm reminded right now of SS Rajamouli, the one who has won the Golden Globe, and he's
Yes.
there for BAFTA and now the Oscars, whatever comes out of it. He said that when he was young, he just didn't like studying. He was not very fond of it, but he had to go through that. But his mother insisted that's okay. If you can't study, it's okay. She made him read comics and books, stories, comics and stories. And he said that was my life and that was my imagination. And that is where I have picked up what I needed to do in life. So his focus brought him to where he was. So yeah, what you talked about addiction and how we can de-addict, there are so many ways we can think of. Spending more time with children, as you said, giving them tasks, as you said, which are interesting, and also spending a lot of quality time with them for them.
Yes.
Does that sound right, Supriya?
I think I'll just add on this is that, be a parent to them. Don't be afraid to be a parent to your children.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I agree to disagree on the thing that, nowadays we should be friends to our children. No, I don't agree on that, because they as souls have trusted us, they've come to us. And as a job of a parent, the whole idea is not that we become Hitlers and we start controlling everything, but you need to
Absolutely.
take addiction of screen as any other addiction. So, if we are trying to protect our children from alcohol, if we're trying to protect our children from, we don't ask a small child to stand up and start pressing and ironing clothes, do we? Or do we give them a task to cook every single day? We don't, right? Because that's a task of a parent. So the same way, there are certain tasks, especially for gadgets and screens, that please be a parent to your children, because there is more research, and the research of the impact of the screens and digital addiction will only come 20, 30 years later. We are in that chaos. So please be a parent to them.
Great session, Supriya. Thank you so much for it. And we're looking forward to more sessions from you.